From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on the Noon News. I'm Diane Parker. Jason Stiff has our Tuesday forecast. Plus, the deadline is coming up for the Montana property tax rebate. But first, our top story. We continue to follow developments surrounding the Polson Police Department and the arrest of an officer on charges of child sex abuse. According to court documents, the case involves years of alleged abuse of a girl as early as 12 years old. MTN's Sean Wells reports.
Officer Matthew Tim has worked with the Polson Police Department for the last 2 years. He was arrested on September 13th on one felony count of sexual abuse of children. The Montana Attorney General's office emailed me charging documents Monday morning, and the allegations are disturbing. In court documents, prosecutors say a flash drive containing naked pictures of an underage girl referred to as Jane Doe was found in a Polson home where Tim formerly lived. Tim resided in the Polson home with Jane Doe from 2017 to 2023. Court documents do not specify the relationship between Tim, the woman's house where he was staying, and the victim. In court documents, prosecutors say two people were painting inside the home in early September when a flash drive was found on top of upper cabinets in the kitchen. One of the painters checked the flash drive and discovered several videos of an underage girl who was either partially clothed or naked. The victim, who was 17 at the time, told investigators that this type of behavior had been going on for years. Jane Doe indicated that Tim had started touching her in a sexual manner when she was 12 or 13 years old and continued into her high school years, according to court documents. Jane Doe indicated that Tim would videotape her in the shower and one time saw a tablet on the counter and realized that she was being recorded. A Montana Division of Criminal Investigation agent looked at the flash drive and found over 700 images of Jane Doe in either a state of partial undress or fully nude, saved within a folder titled Special Pics. Tim is currently in custody at the Flathead County Detention Center in Kalispell, being held on $500,000 bail. In Kalispell, Sean Wells, MTN News.
In Billings, human trafficking awareness is being introduced at West High School with plans to expand to other Montana schools. MTN's Charlie Kleps reports.
Students at West High this week will hear lectures about human trafficking. It's put together by an organization called Journey to Empowerment, and their goal is to continue to bring awareness to not just this school, but others across Billings.
This is a real problem, and it's happening in our schools currently.
Walk the halls of just about any Billings high school and you'll likely encounter someone who's been a victim of human trafficking.
Just about all of them, their trafficking started when they were teenagers.
It's a problem Sayla Cat understands well, working with the HER campaign, a group that helps survivors reintegrate into society.
Actually, in the hallways right now, you have girls and guys who are experiencing some sort of abuse.
Cat says for many survivors, the abuse began in high school.
Students need to be heard. They need to have a voice.
We just want to be a group of safe people that care about these kids.
That's why the HER campaign is working closely with a group called Journey to Empowerment to bring awareness into Billings schools.
We are taking it into the health enhancement programs with the freshman classes.
And it'll be a powerful message. A survivor of human trafficking will be sharing her firsthand stories.
Whether that is within being affected by human trafficking, or what is it that could lead to that, which is drug abuse, homelessness, depression.
We're able to expand on some of those topics that are personal.
West High teacher Kelly Deming says that this program makes the learning much more real and falls right in line with what they hope to teach in health class.
And sometimes when there's textbooks, things online that we're required to teach, doesn't quite necessarily hit the mark. When this can be applied and kids know, hey, this is real, this was happening around us, maybe we can do something to help themselves or somebody they might know.
And plans are already in the works to grow the program with visits to senior, Skyview, and middle schools in the weeks and months to come.
And we just want to help them to be able to go to somebody safe that they can talk to get help.
If we can bring light to what's happening and tell students that they matter and we believe you, super powerful.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
Police are investigating a drive-by shooting in Billings they believe is linked to gang activity. A home on Terry Avenue occupied by a mother and her 17 and 8-year-old sons was hit by 10 bullets early yesterday morning. So far, officers aren't giving us any information about potential suspects. However, police tell us it's the third time they've had to respond to this same house this year. Thankfully, no one was injured. In Billings, the man arrested for toting a gun outside Broadwater Elementary School is back in his home this noon. Gabriel Metcalf was released on federal charges for that crime last week, but was immediately detained again on a warrant on an assault charge dating back to 2020. Metcalf will now be required to wear an ankle monitor until his federal trial, which is set for November 13th. Athletes from across the U.S., Canada, and even Ireland met this weekend to play the ancient sport of hurling in Butte. Hurling is the national sport of Ireland and has been around for thousands of years, and organizers of the event say the sport helps strengthen cultural ties to Ireland.
Hurling is an ancient Irish sport. It's like 3,000 years old, massive heritage and folklore to it, so we're just keeping the dream alive here.
Organizers of the Butte Hurling Tournament say 44 athletes played in the U.S. Gaelic Athletic Association draft games over the weekend. And that's a look at some of the day's top stories.
Some beautiful weather around much of Montana on this Tuesday, the first Tuesday of fall, but we have some active weather in all corners of the country. A good chance for some showers and thunderstorms around the Pacific Northwest, southern New Mexico, as well as West Texas. Also some active weather for New England and even northeastern Florida. Some areas of rain, lots of warmth, even though it is fall now. 80s and 90s with some triple digits for the southern tier of states. And in our part of the world, a big difference in the temperatures already. If you head to the northwest, it's upper 50s and lower 60s for Kalispell and Missoula, but look at this. How about autumn 70s and 80s? However, as I mentioned in my social media earlier today, we have some weather whiplash coming our way. I'll have a complete 7-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
The window to claim a property tax rebate on Montana homeowners' primary residence opened on August 15th, and in order to qualify, you'll need to get your applications in by October 1st. Leaders are encouraging those who still haven't applied to go to getmyrebate.mt.gov to fill out an online form. You have been able to send in a paper application, but leaders warn that can add significant time, especially since some communities have recently experienced slower mail. At the halfway point of the application period earlier this month, the Montana Department of Revenue reported about 70% of potential rebates had been approved, around 150,000. The rebates are available only to Montana residents who owned and lived in a principal residence at least 7 months last year. You'll have to supply your home's physical address, geocode, the amount of property taxes you paid last year, and the names and social security numbers of the owner and immediate family members. You can find information on how to apply and how to find your property's geocode on our website. The Department of Revenue has said it's now sending all rebates by paper check because of concerns that scammers could file fraudulent claims. In 2024, homeowners will again be eligible to claim a rebate of up to $675 on this year's property taxes. In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.